This is the Yacht Lounge podcast. Welcome aboard.
Welcome aboard. Today we are setting sail, but we're not chasing plot summaries.
No.
Our mission is to do a deep dive into a space where extreme wealth meets, well, extreme terror. We're looking at the Netflix series The Woman in Cabin 10, but not for the whodunit. We're focused on its unnerving, gorgeous setting, the super yacht Savannah.
And right away you're confronted with this unsettling luxury of the sea. There's something so hypnotic about the way the series takes this sleek, perfect piece of engineering, a super yacht, and turns it into a terrifying, labyrinthine maze.
It's a space designed for total relaxation.
Exactly. And yet it creates total anxiety.
That's the core of our exploration for you today. How that yacht became a character and why its perfect design makes the fear feel so much more acute.
Yes.
So the premise is simple, but it's instantly chilling. We follow journalist Laura Blacklock, played by Keira Knightley, on this exclusive press trip in Northern Europe. It starts as a travel report.
All opulence and smooth sailing.
Right. But it very quickly morphs into a nightmare that's just reflected on the water.
Until, in the middle of the night, she sees what she believes is a body being thrown overboard from the cabin next door.
A potential disappearance.
A potential one. And from that moment, the line between reality and paranoia, it completely blurs. Much like, the boundary between the sea and the sky when the fog rolls in, everything just becomes fluid, uncertain.
Okay, let's unpack this setting. Because we aren't talking about some generic green screen set. This is a real high-end award-winning vessel.
Oh, yeah.
So what ship did they actually use? And why does its pedigree matter so much to the atmosphere?
It was the Savannah. And this is a colossal 83.5-meter super yacht built in 2015 by Feedship. It was made for the German entrepreneur Lars Windhorst, and its pedigree matters because it's a pinnacle of design. It's not just expensive, it's aggressively modern.
And it wasn't just big, it was visionary in its mechanics, right?
Yeah.
You picture a ship that size, you picture noise, vibration, that constant hum. But the Savannah wasn't like that.
Absolutely not. And what's so fascinating here is that the Savannah wasn't just luxury. It was this huge technological statement. It was a first hybrid vessel in its category. So it balances this raw power, the ability to cross oceans, with near absolute silence.
Silence. That is the perfect chilling ingredient for a psychological thriller.
It is.
A massive boat should sound like an industrial machine. It should give you this backdrop of predictable, almost safe noise.
Precisely. And if you remove that predictable sound, you're removing a constant source of comfort. If you're maybe hallucinating or you're paranoid, the quiet it enhances the anxiety. You expect the engine to roar, but instead all you hear is the gentle lap of water against the hull.
Or worse, nothing at all.
Or nothing at all. The engineering itself generates psychological dread.
So if we look at the aesthetics, the design by DeVuc and CG design, it also played into this idea of unnerving perfection. What specific elements did they use?
They focused on these continuous flowing spaces, lots of expansive glass surfaces, metallic details, all designed, and this is critical, to capture and amplify every single reflection of the sea.
So the outside world is constantly bleeding into the inside.
Constantly. It actually won the 2016 World Super Yacht Award for Motor Yacht of the Year because it achieved this kind of impossible, flawless, reflective architecture.
This is where it gets so paradoxical, because you have this extreme luxury, but the sources all emphasize this profound sense of isolation. Let's talk about the guest list versus the staff list.
It's an incredible ratio. It really defines the core privilege and, the story's tension. The yacht only accommodates 12 guests.
12.
Just 12, in 6 exclusive cabins. But those 12 guests are supported by a massive crew of 24.
12 guests and 24 crew. That sounds less like isolation and more like constant surveillance.
That's a great way to put it.
Which is the real terror here. Is it being alone, or is the fact that someone is always watching, always listening, just around the corner?
And that's the thing. The isolation isn't physical loneliness. It's a social separation that's just masked by extreme service. You're surrounded by people, but deeply separated from them. Director Simon Stone actually chose the Savannah for what he called its unsettling perfection.
Unsettling perfection.
Yeah. Its elegance is so unreal that it instantly transforms into claustrophobia. The flawless design, it leaves no room for human messiness, for imperfection. The luxury becomes a trap.
And nothing embodies that feeling of being suspended, between control and loss, more than the ship's most iconic feature, the Nemo Lounge.
The Nemo Lounge, yes.
Uh.
This is one of the most memorable details. It's a subaquatic salon. It has this huge glass window, but it's located below the waterline.
So it's an observation deck for the deep.
Essentially, the source material describes it as a point of observation suspended between dream and vertigo.
Vertigo. That's Lumen Blacklock's mental state in physical form, isn't it? She's watching this hidden, submerged world, all while she's battling her own paranoia.
Exactly. It forces you to watch the unknown float by, knowing that only a sheet of glass separates your perfect, controlled little world from the crushing reality of the ocean.
And while the savannah looks flawless, untouchable, filming on a vessel that perfect must have been a production nightmare.
It really was. The production team had to move with extreme caution. I mean, you can't touch, you can't scratch, you can't leave traces because, as the sources say, every surface was sacred.
It's a floating museum. You can't just scratch the carbon fiber.
You can't, and that's before you even factor in the external elements. They were filming in Portland Harbor in England, so you've got constant wind, rain, and the relentless movement of the ocean. Yes, and that tension bled right into the cast's experience. Keira Knightley mentioned that some of the cast got really seasick, especially when filming in this one glass-walled room they nicknamed the Room of Doom.
The Room of Doom. I love that. It's a perfect example of the reality of filming clashing with that illusion of perfection.
Absolutely.
That feeling of physical instability must have been fantastic for an actor trying to portray psychological instability.
It was a gift for the performance, I think. The seasickness, the motion, it all mirrored the protagonist's internal stress. That fragility, that calm that constantly cracks, is what gives the entire film its strength.
Now let's talk about the title, The Woman in Cabin 10. It's actually a bit misleading for this setting. We're on a super yacht, not a giant cruise ship.
It's a profound curiosity, and it was a conscious choice by the filmmakers to keep the original title. In the Ruth Ware novel, Cabin 10 was on this giant imaginary cruise ship, a much more anonymous place.
Right.
When Netflix moved the story to this highly exclusive minimalist yacht, the number stayed.
So why keep it? I mean, what's the connection? Does the smallness of the yacht make the invisible cabin even more terrifying? It's harder to hide a body when everything is glass and open space.
And the sources confirm this was highly symbolic, because Cabin 10 is not a number.
It's a state of mind.
It is a state of mind. It symbolizes the space of doubt, illusion, and fear that Lo occupies. It's the place that everyone else tells her does not exist. So keeping that title aligns perfectly with the disorienting, exposed atmosphere of the savannah.
So what does this all mean for this story? The source material is clear that the yacht is much more than a backdrop.
Oh, it really is. And you can see echoes of this in other recent productions like Triangle of Sadness or The White Lotus. The yacht becomes, as they say, a character, a living organism.
It symbolizes the solitude of having everything.
Exactly. The illusion of control and that razor-thin line between extreme privilege and absolute captivity. When you have everything, what's left to lose? Only your sanity.
And the inherent fragility of that luxury. That perfection that vacillates.
Yeah.
And that's the dramatic engine of the whole series.
It's the engine, because the true theme here is the distance between what shines on the surface and what's hiding underneath. The savannah is the incarnation of that paradox.
How so?
It's an architecture that is perfect, but it floats on emptiness. It seems impenetrable, but it's constantly being challenged by the elements and by the human mind.
So the sea isn't just an aesthetic frame for all the wealth and mystery.
Not at all. The sea doesn't allow you to just look at it. It forces introspection. When you're confined to this floating glass bubble, the ocean makes you reckon with yourself, with your doubts.
And this deep dive really speaks to anyone who views the sea not just as a location, but as a mental state, and who understands that extreme luxury, when it stops being all noise and distraction, it can become a really profound, unforgiving form of introspection.
And for you to consider as you reflect on this, the essence of this entire unnerving setting can be distilled into one thought from the sources. The sea is not a refuge, it is a mirror.
Join us on Substack, where Yacht Lounge continues.